It's Derren Howard and Sam Morton here from Sussex World. We're just outside the AEK Stadium after Brighton's 3-2 defeat to AEK Athens in the Europa League. Their first ever Europa League campaign, and I'm still trying to work out how they lost, Sam, really. They had so much possession, but AEK Athens, two set pieces, and they were just quite ruthless on their counter-attacks, weren't they?
A strange game, really. Brighton were conceded early on from a corner. It was a cracking header. It was a really well worked kind of goal from Athens, really. But a disappointing goal for Brighton to concede. Obviously, he was unmarked on the edge. The header itself, nothing anyone could have done about it, really. Jason still had no chance.
Great header.
Yeah, probably the best header I've ever seen live, really. It was incredible. And Brighton, they responded well, and they managed to get an equaliser from the penalty spot, and it was a blatant penalty that somehow wasn't given in real time, and it needed a VAR check to give it. And you thought from when they scored that, it was a confident penalty from João Pedro, and you thought from then Brighton would maybe go on and get a second goal, kick on a little bit. But that didn't really happen, and Athens took the lead again. And there's another set piece, there's a free kick that went into the box, and Brighton just couldn't clear the lines, and Van Hecke almost stood on the ball, nearly got there, but just didn't do enough to clear it. And it was another kind of blow, another set piece goal conceded. And you thought it was back to square one again.
It was,
and then also another deja vu situation where João Pedro is fouled in the box, somehow not given, needed a VAR check, and he steps up and scores it again. And you think right now they'll finally go on and win the game. And it's just again they couldn't quite find that goal, and then they're punished for it. It was another poor goal to concede, really. Ball over the top. Lamptey was probably a bit too soft.
Yeah, he got bundled off the ball a bit there, didn't he?
Obviously he's a small lad, so you can't really blame him too much, I guess, for that. It was just a disappointing goal to concede, really, and it petered out a little bit after that.
Yeah, every time they sort of got a foothold in the game, they just seemed to get caught with a sucker punch, didn't it? You just sort of think, they're back in it. The crowd got behind them. In fact, I thought the crowd were really good today, weren't they? Even when they went a goal down, the Athens fans, they went nuts, didn't they, in their section? And the Brighton fans they started cheering, didn't they, and clapping and getting behind the team and really trying to sort of motivate the players. And I thought the fans were great today.
Great atmosphere. It's obviously an historic occasion for Brighton. They were all really up for it, really, and it's just a shame that the result was like it was, really. And I think it just started on a bad note with Lewis Dunk not being in the squad.
He was a big loss, wasn't he? He's such experience, and he adds that composure to the back as well, doesn't he?
And obviously it was a debut for Igor, and a tough night for him, obviously. I think he'll get better as he plays more games and he adjusts to the system. But a tough night all round, really. And such a shame that Lewis Dunn wasn't there for the first European night in the Amex.
Yeah, I was just in a press conference with De Zerbi, and he said that after the Man United game, Dunk felt, he just described it as a slight muscle issue. So we're not quite sure whether he's going to be fit again for Bournemouth. And then he said Evan Ferguson as well he just came down ill. He was in the run into play today. He didn't say whether he was going to start or not, but he was ill this morning. So there was two really big players. Evan Ferguson's their best striker, Lewis Dunk's their best defender, and on a night like tonight, you really needed them, didn't you?
Absolutely. And obviously it's maybe an element of nervousness about the players. They just weren't really themselves, and there's quite a big gap between the players. They weren't as fluid as we've seen in recent weeks. Like against Man United at Old Trafford, every player was on the same wavelength, and it was one touch passing, and it was impossible to defend almost. Tonight it wasn't quite there. Players were a little bit off it. Atoma was a bit quiet.
He was. I
think Billy Gilmore had an exceptional game. He was one of the best players on the pitch, I feel. But Pascal Gross was a little bit off it, not his usual self. Obviously, João Pedro, a couple of goals, but a bit disappointed about Ansu Fati. He didn't really get too involved. A little bit too hesitant, really. But more to come from him, I'm sure.
I think there is as well. There was a couple of sort of flashes of, that's what he's about. But he didn't sort of really stamp his authority on the match, did he? There were brief glimpses, that was it.
Brief glimpses. But I think he had a shot that was well saved in the first half. But a bit of a frustrating second half for him, really. He wasn't really that involved. Hopefully as he gets more games, gets used to the system. Obviously he's new to the country and everything, so it's probably a bit unfair to expect him to
hit the ground running straight away.
So definitely more to come.
Good stuff. We'll catch up bit of a disappointing night in the end, but there's lots to chew over, so catch up with all the details, the player ratings that are online, and all the reaction from the managers, pundits, and the players as well will be on Sussex World, and we'll also be looking ahead to Sunday's game against Bournemouth as well. So thanks for watching. Thank you.